September 3rd today, the day before archery North Dakota elk slash deer season. I say elk this year because I drew a once-in-a-lifetime tag. So going out sort of blind, did a lot of research on Google Maps, Onyx, etc. Picked out some very elk-looking hotspots, talked to a lot of private landowners, and these ranchers have had a tough time this year without next to nothing for water, big drought, alfalfa not what it usually is. So the elk, which typically move on to some of these places in September, haven't done so yet. They're still back in the Badlands of North Dakota. So luckily it's a lot of it is public land, and that's where I'm going. So 5.5 hours, go to get there tonight, set up camp. Solo this weekend, so hunting, videoing, hopefully packing everything out on my own, and see if we can't get it done. I'm excited. It's a part of the state I've never been to before. So yeah, pumped, ready to go. Hopefully we'll spot some animals tonight and tomorrow morning to be ready to go for noon on Friday when the season opens. Alright, made it to the promised lands, right on the edge of North Dakota Badlands. I'm in the National Grasslands right now. But lots of antelope so far. A couple of mule deer on the drive up. So excited to kind of break this hill, and looks like on the map it's kind of gets really rugged right over the top of this next rise. So always fun seeing different country. Good morning from the Badlands of North Dakota. Bow hunting opener today. Opens at 11 o'clock here on the western side of the state. Just glassing so far. Hopefully put something to bed and sneak in at 11, but no elk. I got the elk and the deer tag in my pocket. Lots of deer walking around, but I haven't seen any mature bucks, so I plan to go a couple miles in this morning. Alright, we're about a half hour after sunrise first morning, and I got 2 bull elk spotted right below that big knob of bushes on top. The back one looks pretty good. They're about a mile away. I'm going to drop down in these ravines and get closer to see what they look like. Super exciting. Here we go. Okay, the first 2 elk. Oh. Got down. They went through that sage right there. And they got into these trees. Into these trees here. So I was going to go up on that ridge line, because they never did cross that fence. And in the opening I'd see them. So they gotta be down below there. Oh, there's 2 more. 2 more way back here where they came from originally. Oh boy. These guys are gonna come that same trail. I got a few more hours yet before legal shooting light. I might get a better vantage point and see if I can bed these down. Never know what you're gonna see out here. Well, those elk disappeared in a big old nasty drainage. So, check out a couple more ridge lines here. And work my way back to the truck, get some lunch. And plan is to settle back into their path where they came from this morning, kind of hunting them like whitetails, because I have no idea where they're at. That drainage wraps around a knob, and it's dead and calm this morning, and I didn't dare get too close, so hopefully they backtrack the same way they came in this morning. Alright, it's finally time here. Good morning. Saw those 4 bulls this morning right away, but I waited them out for, I don't know, 2-3 hours. And I didn't see them. They went down into that big thicket I was talking about. Packed up my stuff on my way back to the truck for some lunch in the camp. And about 2 mile and a half, 2 miles in from the truck, and on my way back I caught movement in the 4. I only saw 3, but 3 out of the 4, and I for sure knew 2 of them were the same ones from this morning. Elk were coming right up to the road. They were, I don't know, 100 yards from it, but they saw me. But they stood there. I got down to a knee immediately. They stared for 10 minutes. And then they just walked down the way they came. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm on a different side of the camp now. And, I mean, tons of country here to overlook. So, I'm going to stare at this ground for a little bit. It's only 1 o'clock. So, middle of the day. Probably won't see much, but it doesn't feel right to lay around in camp until the peak hour tonight because it's overcast and I don't know, probably mid to upper 60s, which has been in the 90s lately, so maybe something will be on their feet. We'll see. Smells like elk down here in the bottom of a ravine. This is the direction where those ones came from this morning. So I had to circle way around to get the wind in my favor. This big cut bank here. Oh man, it smells like elk in here. So the wind's in my favor. I got about 200 or 300 yards to go where they went through that sage this morning. Hopefully they're still around. Okay, got back on the bulls, so I had to go all the way around and going through the bottom of this ravine. It just reeked like elk. Fresh elk sign everywhere. Big rubs. Not the rubs weren't super fresh, but tore up totally. And it's coming around. The bottom's right down there. Just scaled up this vertical hill to get better vantage, and just as I was coming around this tree, I got him. I'll take the tripod off the camera on the tripod here. Alright. So there's one of the smaller bulls. And next to that one is the big one. The sun is brutal. Yeah, there you can just see his antlers. Alright, that's the one. He's a stud. Super long beams. It's really thick in here, so I have no idea which way they're gonna go. Wait it out. This could be do or die. I'm gonna go make a try for him. There's so many opportunities for him to go, and my way is with the wind at their back. It just doesn't make sense. Although it's in the bottom where there's some water, and I don't know. The route is pretty decent to come almost straight at him, but just use the bottom in the thick trees for cover. And there's always game trails in there, so you can get pretty close, pretty quiet. The wind's fairly gusty every now and then, so when I get close, I'll just have to slow down and take my time. Let's do it. Well, that was a total fail. Everything is so different when you're up here. I couldn't tell which way it was up, down, left, right. I thought I knew where they were at. No go, so I'm gonna go back to the sea. Go back to my hill and see if they're still up there. Wind was good the whole time, so I don't know, super frustrating though. Alright, so after all the action on day one, blowing that stock, day two, nothing, three, nothing. Hunted hard, temperatures near 90 degrees, next to nothing for wind. It was just super tough conditions, and I didn't know if I blew the elk out of the country on that stock or what exactly happened, but finally day four, ended up getting back into some elk. That is a dark hole. That bull got up and headed down to the bottom. I'm assuming the other two are down there, so couldn't make a move. Here goes nothing.
Alright, so as you can see, this was super tense. So these bulls pushing each other back and forth, going in and out of this ravine, and I'm as close as I can get to the edge, and you can hear cows chirping, and I can't even see them. They're down in the bottom of this steep, nasty thing, and as I'm trying to get a shot on these bulls, I draw, let down, draw, let down. Finally, a third bull came out of the bottom and gave me a quartering away shot.
It sounded like a balloon burst. And I could see red. The binoculars when he ran. I mean, they got behind those trees really quick, so I'm gonna get a half hour, walk across this drainage and look at my arrow anyway. I didn't see it in him, so it went through. Hopefully this ever did the job. Crazy afternoon. My God, today's hot, 82, 83 degrees. And it's been tough. I'm out here on my own. Last year, one of my hunting mentors passed away. He went on an elk hunt, his once-in-a-lifetime tag like myself, and unfortunately stayed in hotels, eating out. COVID got the best of him. This one's special. Not a huge bull. I don't care. On my own, beginning of September. Doing it with a bow. It's tough. Real tough. Thank you. Alright, guys. I've gone a long ways. Went up and over that ridge there. And the blood was super good to begin with. And it just petered out, so hopefully he's running out. We're coming up this little finger that has this big draw that wraps around. The crow flies, you can see it's not straight. Lots of up and downs. There's a little blood. I'm just gonna take a look in here. He's gotta be in here. He's lost a ton of blood. But geez, he's gone. Over a half a mile. Oh, I think I see fur. I smell him. Can't see him yet, but I smell. Oh, there's a tine right there. That was a crazy story. I honestly can't remember how much I caught on video and how much I didn't. But seeing these bulls bedded, working their way into the draw, I made a move off the top of the peak I was on. Tried to get ahead of them. I thought I was way ahead of them. And when I got to the brim of the peak, they're already down in the bottom, but I just couldn't get a shot either way. And then they started fighting, and I shimmied into a better position, and I don't know, the whole thing was a cluster. I had to go around this tree and that tree, or in this side of the tree and that side, because I could hear him down there, and I could hear him battling back and forth. Not battling, just sparring, but I could not get a shot to save my life. And there is, right behind the shoulder here, a big pool of blood, so the exit was perfect, but let's get him cleaned out.